Joining me now for more on Rex Tillerson's visit to Russia is Senator Jack Reed, a Democrat from Rhode Island. He's a ranking member of the Senate Armed Services Committee and a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Sir, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being with us.
Thank you very much.
Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, said earlier this morning, and I'm quoting him, he said, "It's clear that Russian-American relations are in their worst period since the end of the Cold War. The previous U.S. administration," these are my words now, "the previous U.S. administration has done all it could to exacerbate them." Now, what do you expect to come out of today's meeting with Rex Tillerson and Sergei Lavrov?
I don't expect much in terms of agreements or understandings, but I think Mr. Tillerson is going to carry a message that the world is so concerned now about Assad, given his barbaric treatment of his own people, that there has to be a concerted effort, including the Russians, to develop a political mechanism to remove him from power and to establish a coherent and stable government there. That's, I must confess, easier said than done.
Right. That was going to be my next question. Where are we going to get a plan for this? We have been remarkably unsuccessful. The United States is so successful on so many fronts, but we get a big fat F when it comes to regime change.
Well, this is a very complicated situation. Assad has been ruthless. He was on the ropes, but then when the Russians came in, that added a further, not only complicating factor, but basically they get a vote too now. And on the other side, you have a disparate group of fighters. Some of them are radical jihadists. Some of them are moderate Syrians. You have sectarian differences between the Kurdish Arabs and Syrians, and the Kurdish and non-Kurdish. So you've got a very complicated situation.
All right, so what is your hope from this meeting? Because the bottom line is, what you say sounds very reasonable. Rex Tillerson's a reasonable guy. He's not a fist thumper. He's going to go in and try and have that relationship. You will recall that Secretary John Kerry had a remarkable relationship with Sergei Lavrov. That and $5 got him each a cup of coffee. I mean, it doesn't seem to actually achieve anything when it comes to Russia's expansionist tendencies and its tendencies to protect its interests around the world.
Well, in order to move the Russians, you have to make it clear to them it's in their interest to help a transition. That's the challenge. But their continued presence in Syria, the continued violence, the instability, the international outrage, at some point, I hope that they're going to get the message that this is not something that can be tolerated indefinitely. And they will begin to, I hope, move towards some type of constructive relationship. But again, the situation is probably the most complex one in the world in terms of different factions between the interests of Russia, between the interests of the Iranians, who are also on the ground there. At this juncture, though, one of the things is we don't seem ourselves, the United States, to have a plan or a strategy. The administration has been going very quickly from toleration, it appeared, of Assad to now rejection of Assad. In fact, within the administration, you have some people saying he should go, others saying perhaps it's not quite right or yet right for him to go. So one thing would help us and help Secretary Tillerson if there was a coherent, articulated strategy of how to do this over the long run.
All right, Senator, good to talk to you. Thank you for being with us. Senator Jack Reed,
thank you.
Democrat from Rhode Island. He's on the Senate Armed Services Committee and a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee. All right, coming